Namaste students. I am Basavaraj Bidgi, Assistant Professor of English, Government Pastoral College, Yeragatti. Uh, Today's topic of discussion is I Am Not That Woman, a poem written by Kishwar Nahid. The poem is prescribed for BCom second semester students, Rani Chennamma University, Belagavi. We will go on discussing the poem now. I am not that woman. I Am Not That Woman is a feminist poem written by Kishwar Nahid. As a Indo-Pakistani woman, she has described the plight of women in third world countries in a poignant way. But the poem is not just idle brooding over the fate of women, it is a strong declaration by a woman who has had enough and is now prepared to stand and break free of everything that shackles her. The poem is a ray of hope and confidence to women, with an empowering undertone that women are capable of rising above all the shackles if they have the willpower, while mockingly pointing fingers at the duplicity and double dealings of a misogynistic society. Kishwar Nahid is a Urdu feminist poet. She was born and brought up in India and moved to Pakistan during the partition. She saw the sufferings of women during the partition with her own eyes, which left a deep impression on her and inspired her to become a feminist. She has won several awards for her poems. The poem is based upon the deep rooted stereotypes and prejudices against women in Eastern culture. The various customs and traditions in the Eastern culture are always biased towards women. They are all invisible shackles created to control women and always keep them under the male dominance, all done in the name of protecting women. These stereotypes and customs are picked up and mocked upon by the poet in this poem. The poet talks about the Indian traditions and the customs which are harmful to women, which are very harmful to her freedom, her liberty, her equality. The theme of the poem is women emancipation and empowerment. Emancipation is freedom, empowerment is sabalikarana. The poet picks upon the prevailing regressive notions about women, mocks them, and bravely declares that such backward notions can no longer be used to shackle women. She also takes a dig at the hypocrisy and double standards of men who treat women differently according to their own preferences. Women, with their confidence and willpower, can rise above any such cultural restrictions and unfair standards. The poem proclaims that women have enough strength to rise and live their lives on their own conditions without the need to conform to any outdated norms. The poem is written in first person. The poet speaks about herself in the poem. The poet uses herself as a specimen for all of the women who suffer under the patriarchal construct of the Eastern countries. She speaks from first hand experience and generalizes it to all the women around her. She speaks about herself, but she speaks for all women counterparts. She seems to be addressing, or rather reminding, the men who made her life miserable, or it can be thought that she is addressing the patriarchal nature of society itself instead of men. The tone of the poem is quite brave and even mocking in nature. The poet uses a mocking tone as he picks up and mockingly reminds men about their archaic views about women. Archaic, Archaic, archaic means old, traditional, and orthodox, ಹಳೆಯದಾದ, which is common in the society. She sounds very bold and courageous as she proudly declares that men had no idea of her strength, and she has risen above all that nonsense and is now a proud independent woman. So the tone of the poet is a mixture of mockery, satire, bravery, and courage. Mood of the poem is that of aplomb and determination. Though the poem has a tinge of melancholy, melancholy, melancholy means crying or suffering when the plight of women is described. The predominant mood of the poem is boldness and resolution. When the poet says that she can advance and rise above all. The language of the poem is extremely simple. All the words used are words of daily usage. No complicated words or phrases are used. The simplicity of the language makes the poem more realistic and relatable. Since the poem is in the first person, the central character of the poem is the poet herself. But since the poem speaks about all women, the central character can be said to be any woman who has suffered atrocities at the hands of patriarchy. The poet is directly addressing the men in the poem, so the characters in the poem can be tough of as the poet and the men in her life, or it can be generalized as women addressing the patriarchal nature of society. The poem lacks a uniform structure. The stanzas are unevenly divided. There are 5 stanzas in the poem. They are of varying length with 5, 6, or 10 lines in them. There is no specific meter or rhyme scheme also. But these oddities are no obstacle in understanding or enjoying the poem. The poem follows a unique pattern wherein the poet first speaks about a constraint and then speaks about how it didn't bind her. The poet uses a few but powerful allegories to put her point across. The allegories used in the poem are all real and grounded. They stimulate the reader and give a clear vision of what the poet wants to say without exaggeration. The imagery used in the poem is as follows. The image of a woman on a advertising poster is used to call up and mock the hypocrisy of men and the double standards with which they treat women. The restrictions put upon women are compared to stone walls, heavy weights, and chains. The sufferings which women are subjected to are compared to darkness, thorns, and fire embers. Words like free, breeze, light, flowers, and walking on water are used to convey freedom and liberty. Now we shall read the poem and discuss the poem line by line. The very first line of the poem runs like this: I am not that woman selling you socks and shoes. In the very first line of the poem, the speaker declares that she is of a different kind of woman. She is not one who brought men shoes and socks when he is going to office. Remember me. She emphasizes to remember her. I am the one you hid in your walls of stone while you roamed free as the breeze. She says, remember that you hid me in your walls of stone. You made me to stay within the four walls of kitchen while you walked as the free breeze, not knowing that my voice cannot be smothered by stones. She says, you might have locked me physically, but you cannot lock my voice. You cannot lock my thoughts. You cannot hid my views, my thoughts, my voice, my songs within your four walls, she says. I am the one you crushed with the weight of custom and tradition, not knowing that light cannot be hidden in darkness. She says, you crushed me in the name of customs, traditions, orthodoxy, and practices, social tradition. We use all these terms to curb the freedom of women. She says, you put all the restrictions on me in the name of custom and tradition, but you did not know that you are trying to hide light in darkness, which is highly impossible, she says. Remember me. I am the one in whose lap you picked flowers and planted thorns and embers, not knowing that chains cannot smother my fragrance. She says, it is I who gave you flowers from my lap, but what you have given me back, you have planted thorns and embers in my lap, because you did not know that the chains which you brought home to tie me cannot smother my fragrance. You cannot tie fragrance, you cannot stop fragrance from spreading. That's what she says. I am like a fragrance, I am like a light, I am like something which is invisible, the woman says. I am the woman whom you bought and sold in the name of my own chastity. She says, I am the woman whom you bought and sold in the name of my own chastity. You bought me by giving some price and you sold me for some money in the name of my own chastity. My chastity, my beauty, my sexuousness, sexual attraction has given you an opportunity to make money, not knowing that I can walk on water when I am drowning. She says, I have the capacity to walk on water if you are trying to drown me in the river, she says. I am the one you married off to get rid of a burden, not knowing that a nation of captive minds cannot be free. We are in hurry to marry our daughter, and we are very hurry, and we all people say that my daughter is a burden on my shoulder. To relieve my burden, to relieve my pressure, I will have to get her married. That's what our notion is. She says, you married me off to get rid of a burden. I were all the while I were a burden on your shoulder. You did not show me love, you did not show me care. That's what you have done. But remember that a nation of captive minds cannot be free. uh, our nation might be politically free, but when people of this nation are mentally narrow and who are not ready to give freedom to women will not be able to be free. will not be able to enjoy that freedom, she says. I am the commodity you traded in my chastity. She says, you made my chastity a commodity of selling and buying. My motherhood, she says, even my motherhood is used to earn money and spend money. My loyalty, the loyalty of women is also and always questioned by patriarchal society. Now it is time for me to flower free, she says. Now is the time to free myself. I am not expecting any help from you people to make me free. I know how to become free myself, she says. I will be free like a flower. The woman on that poster, she points to a poster on the wall in which there is a woman who is half naked, selling socks and shoes. She says, no, no, I am not that woman. She uses that picture symbolically. Uh, she says that I am not that woman. I am not the woman in poster. I am something different. I am because I am modern. I have thinking capacity, thinking ability, and I will not be like her, she says. And I am completely different from the woman whom you have put on your wall. Or here we can make a comparison to the gods. We have put all the gods in temple and we have our own imagination, but the god is something different which we see in from which we see in a temple. That's what this speaker is telling. To conclude, it can be concluded that the poem I Am Not That Woman is an apt description of the sad state of women in the Eastern countries, which also points out the deceptiveness of the patriarchal society, besides asserting that women can be free of this burden if they have confidence in themselves. The poem is realistic, relatable in its pinpointing of the various suffocating rules of the patriarchal society, while also giving women a hope of a breath of fresh air if they have the audacity to question society and break free of its Hamburg norms. Thank you very much. In our next class, we will discuss another chapter. Thank you very much.